Okay, let's begin. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Muhammad bin Muhammad Nazri, and today I'll be teaching you guys how to make a simple G-clamp in Fusion, sorry, not Inventor. So first, before we begin, what is Fusion? So Fusion is basically just like Inventor. It is a 3D cam and K software, CAE. However, the difference is between Fusion and Inventor, the main biggest difference is that Inventor is locally based, meaning the files that you're gonna use in Inventor is saved locally, whereas in Fusion it is cloud-based, meaning the files that you have on your Inventor account is gonna be shared on the internet. Well, not on the internet as in the public internet, but the internet as in the cloud, meaning the files that you use in your account is gonna be inside there. So just like in Inventor, it allows for 3D modeling, soft simulation, assembly designs, and camp operations. Meaning, in terms of function, it's practically the same as in Inventor. However, generally speaking, people would tend to find Fusion a little bit easier to get into than say in Inventor because a lot of people they have a background in 3D modeling in, let's say, in Maya or in Blender. You're gonna find it easier to get into Fusion than say in Venue because the what you call the UI is almost the same. So because of that, it is ideal for students, hobbies, and professionals. Like basically everyone can use it really. So next, we want to design the clamp. How do we approach this? How do we draw this? So firstly, obviously, because this is a complex design, we're gonna be using assembly. So how are we gonna assemble them? We're gonna divide it into 5 parts. We have the handle cap, the handle, screw collar, the jaw, and also the main body. Okay, so that's all for presentation. Let me launch my Fusion. Okay, so what we can see here is my Fusion 360. One of the biggest difference between Fusion and say Inventor is this. Unlike in say Inventor, you have your parts over here, meaning essentially what it means is that in Inventor, you have to design parts one by one. Like for example, here, drawn the jaw by itself, and then in Inventor, I have to draw the part itself, and then from there I have to export and then put it in a part, separate assembly file, which if you guys are familiar, it gets quite cumbersome when it comes time to export your assemblies and then sending it to say your coworkers, your peers. And then when you try to open the files, it get corrupted in the meantime. It get corrupted and sometimes even see some files the sometimes the inventor can't find the files that are supposed to go inside the assembly itself. So yeah, it's quite a hassle, but inside it Fusion, it's not. The biggest difference there, aside from here, we have the specific parts itself, which I do specifically in this file, meaning these are tied to this file. So from there, just like in Inventor, you can go here and then you can adjust, for example, the sketches here, you can change however you like. For example, maybe your boss wanted to change specific the parameters of the model, then you can just change it. Also, another big difference is over here in timeline. Because unlike Inventor, which is usually for solo work, you design parts by yourself. Fusion is meant for collaboration, and one of the ways that Autodesk try to encourage collaboration is through here. It's through the timeline. So from here, you can see each steps that I took in order to create this part. If I track this, should be able to see. Yes. So it's like a timeline for a movie, or when you're editing videos, you have a timeline. So from there, you can see what I did in order to create the final product itself. So let's get to designing the part itself. So you can go Control O to open a new part, but not sure it doesn't work. Never mind, we just go Control N. Okay, never mind, we just click New Design. And make sure the workspace you're in is in Design. Generative Design is different, render is different, animation is different, so make sure you're under Design. So firstly, let's begin with creating the cap, because it's going to be the easiest and the fastest. Let me see the dimensions. Okay, there we go. So just like in Inventor or even in AutoCAD, you just go create this sketch here, and I pick the plane you're gonna use. I'm gonna use this plane because I'm gonna draw an outline, the profile over here, and then I'm gonna revolve it around this line, around this axis. So I'm gonna start over here. Let's begin with a box. Yes, shall we? So that's 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. We got a box itself, and then let's make the circular dome on top. Use a spline. It's gonna be easier. Go to the middle, and then, oops, sorry. Over there. Press enter, yeah, that should be done. And so just like in Inventor, you can also just go to sketch dimension, and then you can change any dimensions of the parts that you want. For example, here I want the length of the arc to be 2 millimeters. And yeah, just like that. Go to finish sketch. Let me just move this box. Okay. So, and then from there, we can just revolve this part. Well, we select our profiles, and then we select our axis. We want it to revolve around this axis, so it becomes a circle like that. So just select there, and there we go. We have our first cap. And then next, we need to, this part needs to have a hole in it, so that the handle from here can go inside the cap. So from there, we just click on the surface that we want to create a sketch on. I want to create over here. Click here, and then just go on, where is it? Create sketch. Yeah, there we go. So in order to make a hole, let's create a circle in the middle. The size of the circle is 6 millimeters in diameter. And then we're done. From there, we can just extrude it out. So what we can do when we want to extrude this part out, you can either go all the way to the back like that, drag it to the back, or you can just also click here. So it's gonna automatically assume you're gonna do a what they call to an object. Let me do that again. You could also go to object. Just select this part. Yeah. It's gonna create a donut-like fixture. And then from there, we want cut operation. Okay. So that's one part. Let's go on and create the let's create the handle itself next. So let's go with line. The handle is Let's go somewhere a little bit deeper than the origin. This is also one of the biggest difference between Inventor and Fusion 360. Also, why it's easier. You don't have to start from the origin. You can draw anyway, really. So we go 3. Oh yeah, I press enter, so it automatically closes. If you want to make multiple, you have to left click. So here 12. Yeah. And then 1.25, followed by this height is irrelevant for now. 1.25. And then it's 12. 12 and 3. Yeah. So just close it. Yeah. So now you know that the drawing has been closed if it turns blue like this. And then from there, I'm gonna give it the height, how long the handle is gonna be. It should be 113. Okay, finish sketch. Next, I'm gonna extrude it as usual. It automatically select the profile we want, and then just select the axis. Yes, this is it. And then, so that's 2. Let's create another one of the caps. So it becomes here and over there from the behind too. So that the handle doesn't move out of the holder. So again, this one, we're gonna make it over here. I'm gonna draw it a little bit further than I'm supposed to, since I can just use assembly to assemble them later. So that's 10 by 10. Yes. Just the same as before, really. And done. 2 millimeters. Select the axis, and there we go. And then let's make a hole. Oh, sorry. Let's create sketch. Okay, we're done there. And actually, I forgot that we have to do this in separate files over here. Never mind. So let me just quickly redo. So how you're actually supposed to do is you over here, you left click, right click, and then create new component. So component, I'm gonna call it cap. Yeah, let me just quickly redo. Sorry. So that's 10 by 10. Yeah, that's one. So we have our first cap. And then next, we can just click on new component. We're gonna create the handle. So now, as you can see, we have activate component, meaning now we cannot see the cap. Whatever we do here, it's not going to affect the cap. It's only going to affect the handle, since it falls under a different component. So from there, let's see the dimensions again. I forgot. Let's see. So that's 3. And then next is 1.25. The length is 130. Yes, that's correct. And then let's go on new component. As you can see here, I have cap 1. So if I put another cap here, it's gonna be as cap 1.1. You can also change it to cap 2. Let me rename it. Oh, wrong axis. Never mind. Hold on. There we go. This one is 2. Just the same. Create another sketch over there. Let's go 6. And done. So we're done with all parts. So now we're done. We can, from there, we can just assemble these 2 parts together. So right now, as you can see, these 2 parts are what you call are invisible except for this part. That's because we have this part assembled, activated. So in order to see all the parts, we can just go here, click activate component, and voila, it's back. So from there, let's assemble this part. From here, let's go on assemble. We go on join. So from here, under motion, we can select the types of motion that you want to use. For this part, I'm just gonna use cylindrical so that it can this thing can rotate inside here. So position, I'm just gonna select this part and over here. Yeah, like so. Sorry, let me do that again. Joint cylindrical. Just gonna select this part and this surface. And then from there, I'm gonna pick 12. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Because just now what happened was I was trying to change the degree. It's gonna rotate that. The degree that it's gonna be rotated along this axis. However, I actually want to change the offset of it. So you can, in order to change the offset, you can also just drag this part over here, this arrow. And I'm gonna give it -12. Okay, there we go. That's on one side. And let's create on the other side. Joint, make sure it is cylindrical. Position this part and this part. I want it to be 12 millimeters. And there we go. We have our handle. So now if I want to create another drawing here, as you can see, it's gonna interfere. We don't want that, so let's just move this part. There we go. Move bodies. I'm gonna move it a little bit further away. Yeah, sure. Wait, sorry. I'm gonna move it to the back so it doesn't interfere with our new drawings. So next, I'm gonna create a new component. Let's create the jaw now. Let's create the, never mind, I'm gonna create the screw collar. Create a sketch, and let's sketch, because it's gonna be here. It's gonna go up or two down. I'm gonna do it over here on this axis. So it's towards here, it's gonna be 11. by 20. By 40 by 65. And then this over here is 4. And then last is 10. And then we can just close it. Yeah, we're done. It's now closed. Finish sketch. And then I'm just gonna revolve it. Okay. So next, we're gonna make a holes for this handle to go to. Just gonna go select the face and then click on, what's it? Yeah, never mind. If it doesn't come up, we can also just create an offset plane over here. Yeah, I'm gonna make it around there. We're gonna create a sketch over here. And so now I can draw it over here. Okay, that's center-ish. Gonna make it 9 millimeters in diameter, and then the height from the here to the origin. This is gonna be 9. There we go. So from there, I can just extrude it again. There we go. We can also move this around just like that. So we're done with the hole. Next, we're gonna make the thread of the holder, the thread of the corkscrew. So from there, we can just use the thread function under here, thread. So we select the faces, select the cylindrical face that we want to create a thread in, like so. And then from there, we can also select the parameters of the thread you want to use. So I'm just going to use isometric profile. You can also use different types of profile. You have DIN, you also have ANSI, you also have JIS. Just going to click OK, click on model, so that it's actually going to cut out the profile that you want. And we're done. So from there, we're done with the screw collar. We can just assemble it again. We're going to activate these two parts. And then also another way you can just also do that. And it doesn't work. So let me just join this again. This time it's gonna be, I believe, is it Revolut? Okay, I made a mistake here, so you can also just click delete on that part. Why does it become like that? Let me double check again. Okay, there we go. Not sure why it doesn't work. Sometimes it do be like that. You just have to double. We try again and again. So we're done with that. Let's create the jaw next. Let's create another part, another component. We're gonna name it jaw. Create a sketch, and since I'm gonna rotate it around here, we're just gonna do it over here. Just now just now the warning came about because the corkscrew was supposed to be over here, but I move it over there. So that's why it gave me a warning, but it's okay. I just say capture new position because that's where I want things to be. So let's make the jaw. This one, no, it's gonna be 10, 5. And then 5. Okay, there we go. Finish sketch. I'm gonna revolve it again. Okay. Then we're gonna make a hole inside the jaw so it can fit into this part over here. Just gonna click here, click on create sketch. This is gonna be 6 millimeters in diameter. Finish, and then extrude it down to about -6 millimeters deep. So from there again, we just activate component and then just join these two parts together. Just gonna select this face and here. I believe this is 6. So it's supposed to sit flush inside there. So that's our that's our clamping assembly. Let's now create the actual body itself. So as you can see here, there's a circular part over here, but that's okay. We're just gonna draw this part first. Then we can create the circle part and even the serrated edge over here for grip. So create another part, another new component. I'm gonna call this the main body. Let's create it on this axis so that we can extrude it in this direction. So align. This time I'm gonna use rectangles so that it's gonna be easier. So it's 15 by, I believe it is 78. Next, this is 100 by 15. Again, this is 15 by 60.12. Next, I'm just gonna use lines. So the height over here is 5, followed by 35. Oh, it's 36, 15, and then we just complete the loop. And then from there, we can fillet this part so that we get rounded corners. Just gonna go over here, and yeah, it's gonna be 20. This part and this part. Yes, that's 20. Fillet this part over here. That's supposed to be another 20. And also over here. Oh, 120. I made 20, just 20. So next I'm gonna fillet this part over here. Try not to leave sharp corners on your designs. So that's gonna be 3 millimeters in diameter of the fillet. And then next over here, that's gonna be 5. We're done. So next I'm just gonna extrude this part to one side. That's gonna be 20. 20 millimeters. Okay, we're done. So next, let's create the circular thing on top. the same thing. We just click on the surface that we want to create a sketch on. Create a sketch. We want it to be on top of here. Just click create sketch. It's not in the middle, so it's gonna be a little bit hard. Yeah. So you can see there's a triangle there indicating that it's in the middle. And there we go, 22. And then from there we can extrude this. So now, because we have two profiles now, we have to select two sides. So on one side, it's gonna go to the top by 5 millimeters. Oh, that's 500. 5 millimeters, yeah, that's more like it. And then the next, I'm just gonna go to object over here. However, as you can see now, it's trying to cut it. But inside we don't want cut, we want it to be joined. So it created a new component, new shape over there. It's okay. And then let's create the hole. Create sketch. The hole is 14. Okay, that's the middle, 14. Extrude this to the bottom. Okay, there we go, we're done with that. And let's create a thread because this is threaded. So obviously this part is also going to be threaded. Select this part. It's a circular face, so we can create threads there. So as you can see, it can also be outside of a circle. It can also be inside of a circle. So next, we're done with that. Let's create this serrated part. It's serrated surface over here. So to create better. So in order to create that, let's just use, what do you call? We're gonna extrude a profile into the part. That's gonna be the easiest. However, as you can see, this is going at an angle. So because if we just click on here and then create sketch, it's just gonna make the drawing perpendicular to this side. It's gonna be straight. So instead we need to be angled, so we just gonna go over here. We can create a plane and an angle. So I'm gonna start with this side. We're gonna be 45 degrees. It's going that way. We want it the other way, so let's just put negative. There we go. So next, without that, create sketch. It's gonna give you a weird angle. Sometimes it just does that. You have to fix it. Okay, there we go. That's gonna be easier. So from here, I'm gonna create a triangle that's 2 millimeters. And also 2 millimeters to the bottom. So from there, it's now blue. So let's just coincident these two parts together. Coincident means that it's gonna be on the same line. And then next, we're gonna use midpoint. Let me try that again. Spot. There we go. Now it's all black. I'm actually not done there. Edit sketch. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit slow because it's now a complex part. Let me just go back there. Yes. So now we're done with one part. Obviously, it's not just gonna be one part. It's gonna be many over here. So in order to create that, we're just gonna use rectangular pattern. Select the objects that you want to be patterned as. And then from there, let's pick our settings. It's gonna be spacing. quantity, this is in the X direction, it's going down. However, we don't want any going down, so we're just gonna go 0. And then over here, quantity, we want it to go to 30 with a distance of 2. Symmetric. So that it's gonna go here and there. Direction. Let me just try that again. Oh, it's not 0, it's supposed to be 1. 30 by 2 millimeters. Symmetric. Let me double check. Oh yeah, it's under extend, it should be spacing. Extend means the length, overall length that you're going for. That's not what I'm going. I want it to be the spacing, meaning how far apart each drawing is that we want it to be. So let's go to, okay, we're done with the sketch. So from there, we can just extrude it. Just gonna select every single face that want to be extruded. The video is a bit tricky. It wants to be in 2 parts. Okay, there we go. And then direction, one side, distance, I'm just gonna go all, so it cuts through everything. There we go. So we're done with one side, let's create the next side. This is just the same. We negative 45. Is it 45? From there, create a sketch again. Yeah, there we go. We picked two coincidences there because we want it to be over here. Let's edit this again. I forgot to do the, what do you call, rectangular pattern again. So let's go here. Same thing, spacing, we want it to be 1, 30, 2, and symmetric, both directions. There we go. So then extrude, select every single face that you want to extrude this from. And then just gonna go all. There we go, we're done with that. So we're done with the main body. Again, let's just go there. And activate all parts, and then we just join these two together. I'm just gonna select the threads. Not sure why it's not joining. Rotate, whatever. Let me just try that again. Okay, it's revolute, so that's correct. Is it these two surface? Let's run the thread itself. Okay, there we go. It's a bit wonky. I will manage to get it in the end. It's supposed to be revolute. So we're done with the design. Before I let you guys go, let me just quickly go over our website. This is our Acad Systems website. We are an authorized gold partner. So over here, we have the news when related to Autodesk products. Sometimes you can get promotions over here and also news about maybe new things and whatnot. And then from there, this is our lesson plans for free online lessons, like for example, right now what you guys have. So if you're interested, just click on the one you want to see and then just click RSVP going. And so if you guys have any problems with, let's say, your software, you can also go on help desk. You can go on help desk, create a new ticket as a guest. So from here, you can fill in your name and your subject, what you need, what you need help with, and so category. Just click on KL technical if you want help from me, and then just submit. So from there, thank you guys so much for watching, and that's all for our class now.